And then everybody gonna be saying, man, I'm being Roy Jones Jr. I'm coming out like Roy. Y'all must have forgot.
In a live video on his social media, pound-for-pound boxing champion Terence Crawford said something shocking that shocked the fighting world.
Nah, I can't rap though, y'all. I always been a fighter. I play sports though. I play any sport.
Also, in a recent interview, Terence Crawford said he really wanted to fight Canelo Alvarez and stressed how important it would be as a time that would define his career. Crawford called the fight the pinnacle of modern boxing, which showed how important it was for him and for the sport as a whole.
Well, I've been wanting to fight, I feel as if that's a legacy fight. I feel as if, this is the biggest fight in boxing today. I feel like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. We both coming in the era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era.
Crawford stressed the importance of the bout even more, recognizing the difference in size between himself and the naturally bigger Canelo Alvarez. Crawford didn't run away from the tough fight.
You got two guys, top 3, pound for pound, going head to head with each other, and I understand, Canelo is bigger than me and whatnot, but I'm up for the challenge.
Craig was asked about Canelo, the thing that scared him. He talked about the problems that Canelo's size and strength might cause and stressed that he had dealt with bigger opponents before in his career. I just think his punching power and his physical size are the only things that I really have to worry about, Crawford stated, showing his analytical approach to the matchup. However, he remained optimistic and open-minded about how the fight might unfold. But who knows? Once we get in the ring, we don't know how I'll handle his punching power or his size, he remarked, reflecting on his past experiences. He added, "I've been fighting bigger guys my whole life, so I'm pretty familiar with that aspect of the game." Crawford described the possible matchup as a fascinating clash of traits and skills, delving into the physical and stylistic dynamics of a bout with Canelo Alvarez. Crawford noticed their similarities and differences. He reflected on the balance of contrasting skills that both fighters would bring to the ring.
A very intriguing fight. Canelo and me is the same height. I got longer reach than Canelo. I'm faster than Canelo. But Canelo is bigger than me. He's stronger than me. So we both giving away something, but we both gaining something at the same time.
Furthermore, Saudi Arabian royal His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh played a pivotal part in trying to bring this mega fight to fruition.
You want financials?
Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
During Crawford's dominant win over Israel Madrimov at 150 pounds, Al-Sheikh approached Eddie Hearn with the idea of initiating talks with Canelo's team. His idea was to host this bout as part of Saudi Arabia's expanding presence in combat sports. Canelo, who has declined to give any comments on this topic of Turkey being ready to make this fight, has now officially signed a 3-fight deal with Turki Al-Sheikh.
Tonight, Terence Crawford was with Turki Al-Sheikh at the other event across town. Put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turki Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
Hearn, who has long worked closely with Canelo, offered insight into the Mexican champion's reluctance during an interview with Fight Height. "I'd be very shocked if that fight happens," Hearn admitted. Eddie Hearn highlighted the reluctance of Canelo Alvarez to commit to a potential fight with Terence Crawford despite strong interest from Saudi Arabia. Hearn pointed out that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh had been actively pushing for the fight, but Canelo's enthusiasm seemed missing.
His Excellency has been pushing that fight. It didn't seem like it was something that Canelo was really up for, to be honest.
Eddie Hearn discussed Canelo Alvarez's reservations about fighting Terence Crawford, highlighting Canelo's worrying that such a victory might not be given proper credit. Canelo allegedly felt that critics would dismiss the achievement due to Crawford moving up multiple weight classes from 150 pounds. He said, "When I've spoken to Canelo before about that fight, I think his kind of feeling is when I beat Crawford, everyone's going to say I've beaten a 154-pounder. Hearn further elaborated that Canelo's choice at this point in his career is to face opponents who engage in direct aggressive combat rather than elusive fighters who rely on movement, he added. I think at this stage I don't think he wants to be beating guys who are just moving all the time. He wants people that come to fight. And Crawford can't really come to fight like that in that fight because he's at a huge, massive size disadvantage, and he can't be standing in front of him. Canelo Alvarez, the champion, the undisputed super middleweight king, has continued to solidify his dominance at 168 pounds. In 2023, he delivered commanding wins over Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga, reaffirming his status as a top-tier fighter, known for seeking opponents who match his physicality and fighting style. Canelo has prioritized fights that align with his goals and maximize cash rewards. In
boxing, I take 80% of everything. If you take a soda in the arena, you get it. I need to ask him. It's different. I know in his mind he thinks he can do whatever he wants because he's very talented fighter. He's a very good fighter. I like how he fight, but that's why there are weight classes. Yeah. And he knows.
This includes his $150 million demand for a fight with David Benavidez, another top contender in his class. Such decisions show Canelo's preference for lucrative, legacy-building matchups over risky ventures like facing a smaller Crawford.
Beterbiev on February 22nd. Canelo could fight Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight world championship. There's a fight. Charlo. We talk about Williams go back to the undisputed. But Canelo will fight anyway. But I don't see a lot of options for him right now. So maybe the Crawford fight is in play. If it happens, as good as Terence Crawford is, I just think he's too big.
Eddie Hearn discussed the challenges making the Canelo vs. Crawford fight happen and then moved focus to possible alternative matchups for Canelo. He stated that while fans might be pushing for Canelo to face David Benavidez, he doesn't see that happening either. Canelo had allegedly set a demand for a massive $150 million for a fight with Benavidez, a sum that is unlikely to be met.
I don't think that fight. Then when you think, what are the options for Canelo Alvarez?
Benavidez.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen either. He's put his flag in the sand, hasn't he? 150 million. I know he takes less, but I just don't see that. He's now up at 175, Benavidez. I don't see him coming back to 60.
On the other hand, Terence Crawford has made his goals clear after his spectacular 2023 win over Errol Spence to unify the welterweight division. Crawford turned his mind to greater challenges, moving up to 154 pounds. He secured a victory over Israel Madrimov, signaling his desire to test himself further. Crawford has expressed a desire to face Canelo at 168 pounds, a move that would require him to jump to weight classes and confront major physical disadvantages.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just,
Oh man, you a whoop is it? Yes man type stuff.
I'm not.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
Buddy McGirt voiced concerns regarding the weight division Crawford would enter. McGirt is suggesting that Crawford should avoid joining the fight at the full 168-pound super middleweight limit. He warns that if Crawford weighs in at 168 pounds, by fight night, the extra water retention and weight gain could push him beyond 175 lbs.
I don't think Crawford should come in at 68. Come in under 68. Because if you come in at 68, right? Yep. By fight night, you're over 175 pounds. Can your body carry that for 12 rounds? Against a naturally bigger man.
McGirt advocates for Crawford coming in at a lower weight, recommending a more strategic approach to ensure his mobility and stamina throughout the fight. They should come in under 68, try to get in good shape, whether he's 64 or 65, and fight night. I think Terence is a good enough boxer that when he does get in there, regardless of what he weighs, he's going to handle his business. McGirt suggests that Crawford weigh in slightly below the 168 pounds limit, ideally around 164 or 165 pounds. He believes that Crawford's skill set and adaptability would help him to perform well regardless of the weight. By entering the fight at lower weight, McGirt suggests Crawford would be better able to retain his speed.
That if he stays under 75, he'd do spectacular. But to carry that extra weight, you figure if he comes in, comes in 68, just say for instance, fight 90, 75. That's almost 30 pounds more than his normal weight. Yeah, his best weight's 147. So that's 28 more pounds that you got to carry for 12 rounds against a naturally big.
McGirt is stressing the physical toll that extra weight could have on Crawford. He points out that if Crawford weighs in at 168 pounds and then balloons up to 175 pounds on fight night, that's a drastic increase from his normal fighting weight of 147 pounds.
They both are very good fighters at that level. I don't see 5 or 6 pounds making a big difference.
Right.
Or even 10 pounds. I don't see it making a big difference at all.
Amir Khan, the former world champion, expressed his opinion that Terence Crawford would defeat Canelo Alvarez if the two were to meet in the ring. Khan, who has faced both fighters in his career, stated that Crawford's skill set and boxing IQ would give him the upper hand in a possible battle against Canelo.
Crawford could beat him because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for. I think that fight, if it does happen, as long as Crawford stays away and just boxes and be smart, he can win that.
He acknowledged Crawford's exceptional technical skills, speed, and ability to adjust in the ring would eventually lead him to victory.
I think Crawford's a better fighter than Charlo, and he's a smart fighter as well. He switches and everything, so that would be a very good fight.
The possible matchup has sparked debate among boxing experts. Veteran fighter Demetrius Andrade praised Crawford's skill, but accepted the steep challenges he would face. Canelo is a big bad Volv. He knows how to move, block, and take power shots. Andrade shared with Fight Hub TV, "I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo, but he can still give him a good fight. Crawford's technical precision and adaptability will undoubtedly be on display, but the consensus remains that overcoming Canelo's physical advantages would be a daunting challenge, while the prospect of a Crawford-Canelo showdown in 2025 lingers. In the minds of fans, the likelihood of it happening remains slim. Both fighters have other possible paths to follow, with Crawford possibly defending his legacy against welterweight or junior middleweight contenders and Canelo continuing to seek high-profile bouts within the super middleweight division. Greg Hackett voiced his desire for a Terence Crawford vs. Canelo Alvarez fight, calling it an exciting matchup that fans should see. He said, "I want to see it, put it like that. I think it's worth seeing." Now Hackett is frustrated by the constant speculation and doubt surrounding what the fighters can do and thinks it's time for the fight to happen. He's tired of hearing about what one fighter can't do and wants the two to face off, calling them both top-tier talents. He's urging for action, stressing that the fans are ready for the fight, and it's time to stop debating and start making it happen.
I'm tired of people saying what somebody can't do, what they won't be able to do. I say let's go.
Even when Greg is a die-hard fan of Crawford and wants this fight, top trainer Robert Garcia recently added fuel to the fire of anticipation, saying that he had heard the highly anticipated fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez could actually happen.
I think Crawford is looking at just a huge fight with Canelo, and if he doesn't get it, he might not even fight anymore, because he's told me that before.
Robert Garcia recognized that many fans remain doubtful about the feasibility of the matchup, particularly due to the noticeable size and weight disparities between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. However, Garcia remained optimistic, expressing confidence that Crawford would be able to rise to the challenge and perform at his best in such a high-stakes fight.
I think a fight with Terence Crawford will be big, even though a lot of people think it's a total mismatch. I think Crawford puts up a good.
Hackett also pointed out that Canelo has taken on challengers who weren't exactly in line for a big fight, yet he still delivered exciting outcomes. Canelo is pulling rabbits out of the hat like a Berlanga. No insult to Berlanga, but he wasn't in line for that fight. but since we're just picking guys, but might as well go next, Hack. It was making the point that if Canelo was being matched up with less deserving opponents, Crawford should be the next obvious choice. He felt that Crawford, being one of the best in the sport, deserved his chance against Canelo despite the seemingly unconventional nature of some of the matchups in recent history.
One of the best in the world. Canelo is one of the best in the world. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? Let's do it. Fuck it. I want to see the fight. And Canelo making great money. All my man Bud can't get none of that money. I mean, give my man Bud some of that bread. I mean,
he voiced frustration with the boxing industry's tendency to be stingy when it comes to paying top talent like Crawford. Stop being stingy, y'all being real stingy. In his boxing thing right now, Hackett acknowledged that both fighters were not as young as they once were but still believed they had enough left in the tank for a competitive and exciting fight. They both in their 30s, not 20 years old no more. Of course, they slowing down, but they not slowing down so much that they shouldn't be fighting. Hackett argued that even though Canelo and Crawford might not be at their physical peaks anymore, they still possess the skill and experience to deliver an excellent fight. His belief here was that age shouldn't be an obstacle to making the fight, as both still had the ability to put on an incredible show.
just that they not themselves from 10 years ago. Simple. All right, let's make the fight though. Two great fighters. I want to see it. I'm voting for that fight. Crawford versus Canelo, Canelo versus Crawford. Let's make it happen.
Do you think we get the fight?
I hope we get the fight. I don't know.
Finally, Hackett voiced hope that the fight could happen if all the right pieces align. We need to see if we can cross-promote and make this happen. That's a great fight for boxing. Why not a fight between Crawford and Canelo? It would represent one of the most important events in boxing history, bringing together elite skills, contrasting styles, and unparalleled stakes. However, given the current conditions, this dream matchup may never leave the realm of speculation. Sean Porter, a former welterweight champion and respected boxing analyst, recently shared his concerns about the possible fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Despite the excitement surrounding the matchup, Porter voiced skepticism over how the fight will unfold given the major physical advantages Canelo holds over Crawford.
The others say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets laid.
Porter highlighted the size disparity as a key problem, noting that Canelo, a natural super middleweight and light heavyweight contender, would have a considerable weight and strength advantage over Crawford, who is usually fought at welterweight. This size difference, Porter thinks, could be a major challenge for Crawford, even though he is widely regarded as one of the most skilled and versatile fighters in boxing today.
You know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean?
This fight promises to be one of the most talked about matchups in boxing history, but will Crawford's strategy and skills be enough to beat Canelo's size and power? Do you think Crawford can defy the odds and take down Canelo, or will the weight difference be too much to handle? Please let us know your ideas in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest information on this potential blockbuster showdown.